Hi guys, karibuni sana. As usual, my name is Zipporah Nyangara. My preferred name is Zippy. It's really an honor to be here today. I hope you've been enjoying the mental wellness tips and you're learning and you're picking up some lessons. So karibuni to this series, and right now we are discussing about suicide. We'll be discussing about suicide, and suicide is something that it has been on the media for quite some time, especially the past 2 weeks of students dying by suicide, others attempting suicide, and we keep on asking ourselves, what is suicide? Is ni mapepo imekuja? Because of course people also have that notion that it's a satanic attack and things like that. But anyway, so let's dive in to this mental wellness series today. And suicide basically is when, and I'll try and use the layman's language and not just like a lot of jargons, but suicide mainly can be described as when a person voluntarily or intentionally takes his or her life. And sad statistics is that each and every day 4 people die by suicide. These days we do not say committed suicide because of the stigma that comes with it. We say it died by suicide. World Health Organization, another statistic, showed that annually over 703,000 people die by suicide. Another worrying statistics is that between 10 to 19 years, suicide is the 4th leading cause of death worldwide. So it means that these are the type of conversations that we really need to start talking about. And we cannot continue hiding behind a religion. We cannot continue hiding behind families and not having these discussions on suicide. So there are so many factors that can lead to suicide, but I'll be able to segment them into some subtopics. So one of the factors is mental health, or rather health factors in general. So when one has a mental health condition, there are possibilities that he or she might attempt suicide or die by suicide, especially when it comes to depression, because you feel helpless and you feel hopeless. Again, let's ask ourselves, why is it that people attempt suicide or die by suicide? Is because most of them at that time, what they want to do is just to get rid of the pain of what they are going through, not because they really want to die. A lot of people who die by suicide normally don't want to die. It's not their desire to die, but it's because of the pain that they are going through at that time. So the idea is like, let me just finish or just clear whatever the burden and the stresses that I am going through. So that actually is what mostly goes through their mind. Something else that we need to know under health, you will find that because one has been in a lot of pain. Let's say, for example, you got an accident, you got amputated, you have a lifestyle condition that you're feeling the pressure and the pain is too much for you to bear. So that could also be a risk factor. When it comes to issues of mental health, there's the issue of depression, there's the issue of bipolar, schizophrenia. So that can really can be a risk factor. So that's on health. Number 2, another risk factor of suicide is relational or relationship. We have been created as relational beings. No man is an island. So we've been created to interact with other people, to have communication with other people. But in the event that our relationship aspect is not going the way we expected it to go, then that poses a risk of suicide. For example, if it is a couple and they're having issues, let's say they're having gender-based violence, a man and a woman keep on fighting domestic violence and it's physical, the chances that you will be pushed to think that ndio hii mambo iishe yote, let me just attempt suicide, let me just finish the pain that I am going through. It could be affecting, remember we said that suicide mostly it's situational. It's when you're feeling low and helpless and hopeless because of a specific situation that you are going through. So you will find that because of that kind of separation, children have witnessed their parents separating. And sometimes they will feel like probably if I was not born in this family, my mom and my dad could not have been together, you know, so I am the reason as to why they are separating. That could be an issue. Also in the event of death, because you have lost someone that you love, someone that you spent time with, someone that you thought things would work out. So they've gone and they're not coming back again. So you start feeling empty. And the pain that you go through makes one think like, hey, by the way, why am I living? What's the reason for me to continue living? So, and then something else still under relationship, how we interact with other people in terms of work, in terms of school. We've had cases whereby, and especially in the recent past where we've had students dying by suicide, is because they do not have a good relationship with other students. Some were accused, you stole this, you stole this. They've tried defending themselves. So what happens is like, by the way, you guys keep on believing that I am the thief. So let me then attempt suicide or commit suicide so that I can just get away from you keeping on telling me of how I stole, and probably there's no truth to it. So you will find that all these can be risk factors of people attempting suicide or dying by suicide. That does not mean that every divorce case will lead to suicide, that every breakup will lead to suicide. It means that these are high risk factors that one might consider when it comes to suicide. Then also environmental factors. Environmental factors could be one, there's a gun, that lethal weapons that are just lying around, especially for those that can access, probably police officers, those that have the license that they can have the guns with them. So you will find that because the environment already gives you like reason to like attempt suicide, and you already have the weapons that a tool that you can use to attempt suicide. So it becomes very easy for one to do that. Something else could be the environment in terms of, like, for example, when Kenya went through post-election violence, the environment can be a trigger or a risk factor, especially for those that probably went through the skirmishes. They were like, Sasa, everything that I owned has been destroyed. I had land, I had buildings, I had businesses, but right now I have nothing. I completely have nothing to my name. So if not dealt with well, you would feel like, so because I'm going through so much pressure, I am going through pain, then there's no need for me to continue living. So how do I live without everything that I had worked for in my youth ages? So, and of course, something else, past experiences, and this one also now goes to a risk factor and a family. And a family, there are families that we've had a specific name. They died by suicide. We've had watu wenye wanaitwa Kamau. Hiyo jina wachana nayo. Because why? Because there's the family history of family members attempting suicide or even dying by suicide. So you'll find that with that, chances are high that it's a risk factor, that you being part of the family, you are in a position to attempt suicide. And also, for people who have gone through childhood traumas, adverse childhood experiences, or any traumatic experiences, it can really be a risk factor to a suicide. For example, a young girl born in a family, and then in that family, she goes through defilement. She's defiled by the uncle, that also is incest. She's defiled by the house girl. So she never talks about it. These are things that she goes through. And because she cannot talk about it, because of course, sometimes because of our family setups, things get thick for her because she does not have a safe space for her to talk about it. Then, in her adulthood, she gets raped. So she now starts asking herself, by the way, what is really happening in my life? So was I created just to go through sexual violence? So you will find at that point where they feel like they want to really let go of the pain and decide that I am no longer, I don't want to live in this situation. It really helps. Like, so that's how they think, like, so this is what is happening to me. Let me just deal with this pain so that I let it go and things like that. And also because of the family issues and things like that, sometimes you will find that there are people who attempt suicide because they feel like if I attempt suicide, it will make other people feel sorry because of what they did to me. So more or less, suicide is a cry for help from individuals who are going through issues. It's not a point here now saying that, no, you need prayers. Yes, there's a place for prayer. There's a place for spirituality because we are created as psychosocial spiritual beings. But then also it's not a point of saying that we are going to disown this person. So what normally happens is that when you see someone attempting suicide, normally it's a cry for help, like, hey guys, I need help. I need you to come through, but I also need you to come through from my own perspective, not coming thinking that I have to do this and this. I need you to hear me out. It's just that it's so sudden, and it's also sad that most of the time it is fatal, that they never get the help that they need to get help for. Also, something else, you'll find that people attempt suicide apart from thinking that the other person is going to be sorry because of what they did, but then it's also a place of despair, and someone is just tired. I am tired of the pain that I am going through. I do not feel like I can do this. I do not have the strength and the resilience to do that. So that's when you will find them now wanting, that is their form of crying for help. But truth is, anyone can get help. Personally, for me, when I'm at my lowest and when I had suicidal ideation and attempts, I think for me, mostly it was getting support from people that really assisted me to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And now imagine, like, hey, by the way, there's the other bit of life. But then even before that, so even before that, when I was feeling helpless and I was feeling very lonely, I thought that maybe for me to get rid of the pain that I am going through, for people to stop thinking that I am a burden, then let me end this so that I am no longer like the carrier of bad vibes, the carrier of bad things. And I hope with that now you get to understand the risk factors, such that to a point when someone comes to you and say that I feel like I want to die, I feel like this is the end of me, you will be able to take it differently and also help them to seek support. So, and this is a series that we will continue. Next week, we're going to talk about the myths around suicide, and then how can we support other people who are feeling helpless and hopeless. As usual, my name is Zipporah Nyangara, and I lead an organization called Haven of Dreams. We work around different thematic areas, one being mental health and psychosocial support, where we help people to get mental health resilience, to be able to deal with any circumstance and life issue that one comes or goes through. The other thematic area is sexual and reproductive health rights. The third thematic area is gender equality and human rights. Then youth empowerment, and finally, environment and climate change. So if you need any assistance from us, our offices are based at Free Area, the Chiefs Camp, CDF building. You'll find us from 9 a.m. Monday to Friday. You can also check out our social media pages and our website, Haven of Dreams. All the handles, Haven of Dreams organization. But if you need to reach out also to Mizpah TV, you can always reach out via SMS or calls through 0799 200 100. See ya, and looking forward to see you in the next session.